Hi, this is Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors. Welcome back to my channel. So, I don't know what I'm going to call this session, but I'm going to try and spend some time on Saturdays doing some scrap busting. So, I am going to, this is my neutral scraps box bag. And yeah, I've got quite a lot of bits and pieces that I've been kind of stashing for a while now. So the idea is that on a Saturday I'm going to try and start to get rid of some of these bits and pieces. That's the idea. So I have got a load of card in here. Some of it I've been using to cut things with my Cricut. So it's all got bits and pieces cut out of it. So yeah, I do have a lot of card. I do have some masterboards. I have, gosh, just everything you can imagine. I've got in here. So, like I said, I'm going to go with my neutrals at the moment, just because I think yeah, I think they kind of inspire me a little bit more. So let's just grab these, and that's not even making a tiny dent on this stuff here. So yeah, so I'm gonna have a go at just using some of these. These are an old diary that I had from 2019 that I didn't ever use. And I think these would make really, really good scrap books or scrap pads. So I'm just going to take a couple of pieces at a time first. I'm going to take off the end pages there, which I will keep because I do like to use those for certain things. Take off the bottom. We're going to take off that top piece, and we're going to take off this end piece here. I'm going to take these down in not quite full half, but I'm not going to measure them, so they're roughly half. Might have a bit too much here to, nope, there we go. So I've also got some other bits and pieces that I can possibly use for this concept. So we've got some of these pieces here. Yeah. So literally all I'm going to do with these is I'm going to make some scrap pads that can go in journals. They'll be ready to go. So I'm doing 5 in each. Of these. 5 there. Then we're going to split up some of this paper here. Okay. So I'm going to grab all of those together and I am going to put a couple of divots in these. I'm not measuring them. Not divots, you know, the holes. I'm not measuring them, they're only small. I'm just looking at different ways to attach these that add a little bit of interest. So we'll use a brad for this one. And I'm also going to take a little bit of these pieces so it's not completely, what's the word? It's not, you know, you haven't got them all the same size behind. So got a little scrap pad there. With this one here, I might do the same. It's a bit big. And the good thing with this is you don't have to decorate them because you can use them and just have them as bases ready to go. So when you're ready to start a new project that perhaps you don't really know what pattern or, you know, what format it's going to take, then you can play around with some pretty neutral bases and have a little bit of fun with them. And as I said, they don't have to be perfect in any way, shape or form. This one I'm going to staple for a moment until we decide what we're going to do with it. I'm going to do the same with that one there. Now, have I got any... yes, I do. We've got a little bit of craft card, excuse me. So I'm going to see if we do that. Like that. And all I'm doing with this is just folding that over. I'm going to ink it a little bit just to get rid of those white bits. And I'm going to do the same with this one here. So we've got that like that. And what I'm going to do with these is these are going to go over here like that. And I am going to put another little hole in there and there. As I said, it certainly doesn't have to be perfect. So we're going to go with that. Remember, they're scrap pads, so they don't have to look, you know, absolutely perfect. I'm just going to take that bit off there, though. So we've got one there. I'm going to do the same with this one. You can use lace, ribbon, excuse me, whatever you want, excuse me, to tie these, to keep these together. The the fact that I've stapled it in the middle means that you don't have to catch every piece of material with your bread, because that staple has caught them all in the middle. Okay. And again, I'm just going to take off any excess here. That. Take some of these bottoms off so it doesn't look so prescriptive. And again with that. So I have got 4 scrap pads there, and then to add a little bit of added interest, I am going to, I think, I'm going to add a little bit of stamping. Now I don't want this to be on all the pages, so I'm going to just put something underneath like that. So that just adds a little bit of interest there. Do the same there with that one. And then with these two, I think I'm going to add some die cuts to the front page. And these are die cuts from Susan, Libra Designs by Susan. They are amazing die cuts to work with. I absolutely love them. Pop that one there. And do the same with this one. I'm probably decorating these more than I would, because I don't know what project I'm going to use them for. But again, it's the type of design that you could just go with. You don't have to be overly, you know, don't have to overthink it. I've got one there. And I think I'm going to grab something to go on there as well. So even though we've used that front page, we've used it so that it's decorative. And you don't actually have to do anything else to these if you don't want to. So there we go, 4 scrap pads. Really simple and effective way of using some of your scraps. The other thing that I've got in here is I've got some tags that I'd already cut out with kit pieces that I was going to use, and I haven't used those kit pieces. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to back them onto some collage paper, so that will give us some backing space. I've done that wrong, haven't I? It's okay, I have to back the other one as well. Popping that on that. Again, I'm not going to use scissors because I want a bit of a rough look. So I'm just going to use my ruler for now. Like that. That one's a bit scruffy, so I will just tidy that up there. So we've got the tag that I was going to use. The design has been covered with backing paper, so I don't have to worry about that. I am going to grab my favourite stencil. Going to do a little bit of stenciling on here. Like that. And I am going to, I've got some of this vellum paper. I'm thinking I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a die cut that I want to go in the middle. Yeah. So I'm going to glue this on here. And I'm probably going to try and keep these videos to half an hour. So perhaps a little bit longer than that. It really does depend. Okay. So that's got a bit of coffee staining on it already. So why not? We'll use that as well. I'm just going to go around the edge of my tag. You don't have to be tidy with this. All I want to do at this point is keep this paper on. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my snippets. A lot of you have probably seen me do these kind of tags before. I usually tend to use acetate, but I'm not going to today. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge of the card on top of the vellum. And I'm going to create a border. So the next thing I am going to do is I am going to go and stitch around the edge, and I'll be back with you. So I have just stitched around the edges, and you've got a really, really nice muted look here. What I am going to do though is I'm going to add something just on some of the less busy pieces here. Like that. And you have got a really simple window frame tag with backing, so you've got some journaling space. So that is that one. I did find an envelope in here somewhere. I think, yeah, there was a couple of envelopes here. What I used to use these for is I used to use them for keeping my dies in. I'm not going to do that now because I've got a different system that works better, but I do have this envelope now that is kind of surplus to requirements. So again, I don't really want to waste it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edge. Okay. I'll do the top as well, I think. Okay. I'll pick up on that tag a little bit later, I think. So we've just gone around the edge on this one. And I think I'm going to grab some of my larger pieces from the Tim Holtz bits. They're not the photo booth, they're the next ones he brought out. I actually prefer them to the photo booth, to be honest. I want something with a really nice warm colour to it. And I am going to have to buy some more of these because they are... I haven't got many of these ones left. So I'm going to grab some of my special Deb paper. Deb sent me this paper from the States and it is really lovely. It's Greek, but the paper is old and very brittle. So it's got that real feel, kind of aged feel to it. So I'm not gonna... The problem is, see, when I create the scraps, I end up actually putting more scraps back in my scrap bin than I end up taking out, which is never a good thing. But if you do end up with some extra bits and pieces ready to use on the back of it, then that's never a bad thing, is it? Well, it can't be a bad thing, surely. Okay. So I'm going to pop this over here. I'm going to keep the frame. So I don't want to get rid of the frame. I'm going to be using this. Perhaps there, maybe there. And I want to... I've got somewhere some... Oops-a-daisy, dropping all my things on the floor. I've got some... No, I don't think that's going to go with it. Got some of my faux washi. This one's slightly different. This was done on tracing paper rather than the other stuff that I did on sellotape. And all I've done is I've put double-sided tape on it. Another piece there. I'm not going to use those stamps because they just don't go. Take a bit of that extra off there. So yeah, it'd be really good. I need a name for these Saturdays. Saturdays with scraps, or scrappy Saturdays, or scrap busting on Saturdays, or whatever. So if you've got any ideas about some names that I could use, that would be fab. Drop them in the box below. I've got some laces here actually. I could use some of these just to add a little bit of interest. Got some bigger ones there. They're probably too big. I do like this one. I could put it across the page like that and then do my picture here. That might look quite nice. And don't ever use art glitter glue for fabrics, ever. Only ever use Fabri-Tac because I don't really trust it, to be honest. But in saying that, sometimes you don't want that great load of what do you call it? Glue residue poking through, which tends to do with the heavier glues. I'm trying to be careful not to cut into this here. So I'm going to go with that. Like that. And I've got a little bag here of things that I haven't used in previous projects that I was going to use. Some of this might be usable. It might not be. I'm not a lover of stickers. But I do think this needs just a little bit more. So I could go with a ticket there, a today there. What does that look like? Is that bit too busy? I think I might use that. And we'll have that go there. And then I think I'm going to get, don't really want something that's, say, an agent, but numbers aren't a bad thing. No. So I'm going to put that there. Give me a little bit of interest. And I may pop that one. There. I've got ink all over my hands. So that will take a little bit of time to dry those bits there because of the glue that I've used, but I'm going to quickly go around the edge. And just try to avoid those areas. So daisy, see? Try to avoid those areas, and I'm already making a right mess. So that's the secret. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Let's see if I can save any of that. It's a maybe. Let's just have a... Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So that is that. And then what I would probably do with that, it is a pocket, but what did I do with my... There they are. It's a pocket, but just to add a little bit of interest, I'm gonna grab a large paper clip. I'm gonna use that on there. I'm gonna take this bit of lace. I'm going to pop it through there. I'm going to try and get it as even as I can. So I'll go on there like that. I'll go there, just cut a little bit of that off. And that will go on there, and we can use that as a pocket, a closure for the pocket. So yeah, quite a cute little pocket out of a upcycled envelope, and I am happy with that. So that is it for this session. I'm not going to go on forever. So we've been probably just over half an hour, which is what I'm going to try and keep it to. And in that time, we've made a pocket out of an envelope. We have made a new tag out of an upcycled tag. And we've also made 4 little scrapbooks just out of scrap paper. So that's not a bad little make in half hour. And my bet desk, yes, does look like a bomb has hit it. But yeah, I am quite pleased with those. I might add a dangle to that, because I've got loads of these dangle bits that I think would go with that. And I quite like the ones with the bits in there. So I'm going to quickly pop that through there. We get a eyelet. Put that in there. And we'll pop that through there. Like so. So that just adds a little bit of extra. So yeah, really happy with that. A couple of different makes in quite a short time, just working with some scraps. And I will, like I said, try and keep this up now on a Saturday where I'll just grab my scrap bin and try to make some bits and pieces. I don't know how long that will go on for, but I would really appreciate your help with a name for it. So if you can think of any names that might be worth considering, then that would be fab. Just drop them in the comments section below and I would really appreciate that. So until then, as always, stay safe, be well. I will catch you in the next video. So bye for now.